Palestine, the Israeli army issued new forced displacement orders for residents of Khan Younis as it continues with intensified offensive across Gaza. On May 18th, important elections were held in European Union countries such as Poland and Portugal. In Argentina, the historical National Federation of University Teachers, CONADU, will hold a national strike this Monday and Tuesday. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Stay with us. In Palestine, the Israeli army issued new forced displacement orders for residents of Khan Younis as it continues with its intensified offensive across Gaza. The displacement mandate told residents living in the southern Gaza region to evacuate immediately ahead of an unprecedented attack. The command, which also applies to the nearby areas of Beni Suaila and Abazan, called on civilians to move west towards Al-Mawasi. Controversially, according to medical reports, the Zionist regime struck a makeshift tent in Sedson early Monday morning, killing 2 civilians. The latest order comes after Tel Aviv issued a similar warning for central Gaza on Sunday as it expands its ground offensive to target densely populated areas, shattering any sense of safety for Palestinians. And the World Health Organization opened on Monday its annual meeting of government ministers and top envoys. In this context, Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus warned of the millions of people starving in Gaza as a consequence of the Israeli blockade.
Months into the latest blockade, 2 million people are starving, while 116,000 tons of food is blocked at the border just minutes away in Al-Arsh. The risk of famine in Gaza is increasing with the deliberate withholding of humanitarian aid, including food, in the ongoing blockade.
An Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the authorization to bring food into the Gaza Strip as a temporary measure in response to the humanitarian crisis aggravated by the intensified Zionist attacks. The Prime Minister's office made the decision in order to avoid a widespread famine crisis among Palestinian people. However, the government clarified that it will seek to prevent Hamas resistance movement from controlling the distribution of the aid. This opening will be valid until preparations are completed to establish distribution centers on the Israeli military security control operated by U.S. civilian companies in southern Gaza. The measure has generated rejection among Palestinian sectors who question the exclusion of international organizations with field experience. And all public hospitals in the northern governorate of the Gaza Strip were out of service after reporting the suspension of operations at the Indonesian hospital in Beit Lahaya. The health ministry explained that the intensification of the siege by Israel against the Indonesian hospital and its surroundings and the impediments to the arrival of patients, medical personnel and supplies rendered the facility inoperative. Civil Defense spokesman Mahmoud Basal confirmed that the situation in the Gaza Strip is catastrophic. He also indicated that the ambulance system is very worn out and 75% of the vehicles cannot move because they have no fuel. In other topics, in Syria, 4 people were killed and 2 others injured after a car bomb exploded in the city of Al-Mayadin. According to the head of the local police, Khalil Abdel Moneim Al-Ayoub, the vehicle was detonated near the police station where 4 police officers were killed. The official also added that a curfew was announced in the locality in the governorate of Deir ez-Zor in the east of Syria, where roads were closed to start the relevant investigations. So far, no group has claimed responsibility for the explosion, although local media say that several terrorist cells operate in the area. And floods caused by heavy rains in the Argentine province of Buenos Aires left at least 1 person dead and 3 missing. The storm affected the northern area of the province as well as the city of Buenos Aires and its metropolitan area, which concentrates some 15 million inhabitants. The director of civil defense of the province, Fabian Garcia, informed that 1,945 people remain in evacuation centers. Both the national and provincial governments launched emergency operations with the dispatch of technical equipment, rescue vehicles, and supplies for the refugees. The provincial government informed in a communique that after the storm, the water is receding in all sectors and people are returning to their homes. And in Paraguay, a strong storm in at least 12 of the country's 17 departments caused material damages, downed trees, and the diversion of an aircraft coming from the province of Jujuy in Argentina. The rainfall, accompanied by thunderstorms, mainly affected the departments of Itapúa in Paraguay and Misiones in Argentina, where there were reports of falling trees, power poles, and houses completely roofless. The Paraguayan government announced that 3 trucks will leave from the capital of the country with roofing sheets, props, and wood to the towns of Carmen del Paraná, Nueva Alborada, and Encarnación. Indonesian authorities raised the status of the Lewotowi Laki-Laki volcano on the island of Flores to level 4, which is the maximum alert after it recorded an increase in activity. The director of the Indonesian agency, Muhammad Wafid, indicated that no activities could be carried out within a radius of 6 kilometers around the area. Asked for calm to the communities settled near the volcano, the use of face masks, and caution before the potential expulsion of lava rivers. The Indonesian authorities did not specify in their communique the number of people evacuated, although in mid-February, during a similar increase in activity, they had already ordered the relocation of the inhabitants of 6 villages. We now have our first break coming up. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We're going to be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Polls voted in Sunday in presidential elections at a time of heightened tensions due to the military special operation in neighboring Ukraine and growing concern that the U.S. commitment to Europe's security will weaken under President Donald Trump. The 2 leading candidates are Warsaw Mayor Rafał Trzaskowski, a liberal, and Karol Nawrocki, a conservative historian. According to the exit polls, the liberal Rafał Trzaskowski will have been the narrow winner of the first round of the presidential election, but both politicians will face each other in the second round of the elections on June 1st. The chairman of the State Election Commission said he expected to announce the election final results late Monday afternoon or in the evening. And in Portugal, according to official results, the Democratic Alliance won a majority of seats in the legislative elections, while the Socialist Party and the far-right Chega Party were equal in number. Prime Minister Luis Montenegro's Conservative Party won the elections, securing 89 legislative seats, while the Socialist Party and the far-right Chega Party won 58 seats each. In this sense, the elections were marked by the historic rise of the far-right wing and the crisis of the traditional bipartisan system. The turnout in these elections reached 64.04%, which implies an abstention rate of close to 36%, perceived as a sign of growing dissatisfaction with the early elections. In Venezuela, the National Electoral Council detailed that more than 15,000 voting centers will be set up throughout the country for the regional and legislative elections to be held on May 25th. Electoral Vice President Carlos Quintero informed that the organization will also have 1,236 contingency collection centers where there will be 10% of voting machines. Quintero also announced that to date the entity has performed 60% of the audits foreseen for the electoral system. The official also pointed out that the electoral chronogram registered an 85% advance. In this sense, on May 25th, Venezuelans will vote to renew 277 deputies of the National Assembly, 253 legislators, and 24 governors in all the Venezuelan territory.
We have reviewed all the electoral infrastructure that the National Electoral Council will have available on May 25th for all voters, for all the people of Venezuela, with 15,736 voting centers and a total of 27,613 polling stations. We will also have 1,236 contingency collection centers, where there will be a 10% contingency of voting machines.
And the leader of the Bolivian Senate, Andrónico Rodriguez, was confirmed as the presidential candidate for the Popular Alliance, a coalition led by the Third System Movement, FTS. The announcement was made this Sunday by Felix Pazzi, leader of the FTS and former Minister of Morales, during a press conference held in the city of La Paz. Pazzi called for the unity of Bolivian people around the candidacy of Rodriguez, affirming that he represents a renovation of the political structures. The MTS leader also announced that it will be Andrónico Rodriguez who will decide the conformation of his team for the Legislative Assembly and the election of his running mate. And in Argentina, the political formation of President Javier Milei, Liberty Advances, won by a landslide the majority of seats in the legislative elections in the city of Buenos Aires. Only 53.35% of the electoral roll turned out to vote. Out of the 30 seats in dispute, Freedom Liberty Advances, led by presidential spokesman Manuel Adorni, obtained the majority with 11 seats. In second place is Buenos Aires Now, headed by Leandro Santoro with 10 seats. The remaining seats were distributed among the Republican proposal, Let's Return Buenos Aires, and the Left Front. In addition to the low turnout, the elections were marked by a struggle between the President Javier Milei and the former President Mauricio Macri. And also in Argentina, the historical National Federation of University Teachers, CONADU, will hold a national strike this Monday and Tuesday to demand meetings with the state and a salary increase. Since the government of Javier Milei took office, the salary increases received by teachers have an average of between 68% and 86%, depending on the position, compared to an accumulated inflation of 205%. In addition, all the teaching and non-teaching unions of the University of Buenos Aires will march on May 22nd. The mobilization will be within the framework of a week of protests, with actions of visibility and in the face of a new federal march. We now have our second break coming up. We invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English, where you find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. A final break, we're going to be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Colombia, a bomb attack in the city of Cali left 3 policemen injured. Local police informed that the terrorist attack took place in a sector near the Los Lagos neighborhood. So far, no fatalities have been reported. It was also noted that the attack, the second of its kind in a period of 20 days, involved the use of a bomb made with approximately 18 kilos of pentolite. The mayor of Cali, Alejandro Eder, made a call to the administration of President Gustavo Petro, requesting all the support to protect the people of Cali and to face this threat with force. And in Ecuador, security crisis worsens as authorities reported that 6 people were killed after an armed attack on a nightclub in a rural area of Chillanes. Preliminary reports detail that the attack occurred last Saturday at 8 p.m. local time, when armed subjects riding motorcycles entered the establishment and indiscriminately opened fire on the people inside. Authorities also said that at least 3 civilians were seriously wounded. So far, the identities of the victims and the causes of the crime are unknown, but the local police are still investigating to find those responsible for the massive attack in the canton of Chillanes. And in the United States, 2 people were killed and at least 1 person is missing after multiple pedestrians were struck by a train in northern Ohio. The incident occurred at around 7 p.m. local time in Fremont, near Lake Erie, between Toledo and Cleveland. Fremont Mayor Denny Sanchez confirmed 2 fatalities, a 58-year-old woman and a 38-year-old woman as well, a mother and a daughter. Emergency crews were searching the Sandusky River for at least 1 missing person. Fremont police said that the bridge has been closed and urged people to stay away from the area. Multiple law enforcement agencies were on the scene. Mexican and Chilean organ grinders delighted the passerby in Mexico City as they paraded through the capital on Sunday. During the 3rd Festival of Organ Grinders, Chilean organ grinders and street performers, known as chinchineros, played their drums and drove, bringing a vibrant and rhythmic one-man band performance to the Mexican public. Chilean organ grinders are part of the cultural heritage of the country since 2017, when it turned from a marginal profession to a very appreciated one. These organ grinders and chinchineros hope that people in Mexico and across Latin America can recognize their artistic skill and traditions.
We are the soundtrack of the city. We can't talk about Mexico City without listening to an organ grinder.
Vengan, apoyen los organilleros.
Come, support the organ grinders. These are our traditions, Latin Americans, and I think that in a globalized world where we are slowly losing our identity and we are almost all becoming the same, especially with the internet, so these things give us identity, and I think that when one knows where one comes from and embraces those roots, I think one can be happier in life because one knows who one is.
A 5.19 China Tourism Day theme festival was held in Thailand this week, engaging Thai and Chinese officials, travel trade professionals, and visitors to promote tourism between the countries. The event, supported by the Chinese Embassy in Thailand and the Chongqing Municipal Culture and Tourism Development Commission, is part of the celebrations marking the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the China-Thailand diplomatic relations. With the slogan, Ni Hao China, the festival featured tourism exhibitions, a short video competition, and a smart tourism forum showcasing the diverse appeal and resources of China's inbound tourism. In addition, during the event, representatives from smart tourism enterprises in both countries held a roundtable discussion on digital cultural tourism trends.
China is Thailand's largest source of tourists, while the number of Thai tourists visiting China continues to grow. This not only strengthens tourism cooperation, but also lays a more solid foundation for building a China-Thailand community with a shared future.
Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thanks for watching.